Talks with Derrick. A Forte joint.
Welcome to Talks with Derrick, and I am Derrick. We are back with Date Shenanigans Part 2 with Miss JJ in the building.
Hey.
On this episode, looked at the last episode, you saw that we had the men's point of view of dating shenanigans. On this show, you're going to get a woman's perspective on it. Woman's tale, woman's perspective. So for those who had questions, well, what does the woman think? Now, here's your opportunity. Here's what a woman thinks on the woman's side of it. Who do you think wants sex more, men or women?
In the beginning of a relationship, a woman always wants sex all the time.
I think a woman knows from the first sight of seeing you, she wants to give it to you. She knows that from first sight.
Have I looked at guys and been like, oh yeah, I want to f him? Yes. Not knowing anything about him or anything, just seen him like, oh damn, I would f the shit out of him. Yes, I have thought that. Any woman that says they haven't is just ignorant and dumb because they're just lying like a because yeah. When it comes to sex, I think it just depends on the person. I think both sexes love sex. That's what it was made for. It just depends on the person.
Now, what is one thing that you think that guys are consistently doing that may turn women away?
When you first start talking to someone, like, I know a woman like, I want a man to be consistent. So I want him to keep texting me, but it depends on the type of woman you are talking to. And I feel like as a man, you have to know what kind of woman you're talking to. It would make me turn away if you're under me 24/7, or if you're like, I don't need you to call me 7 times out of the day. Because then I start thinking like, what are you doing? How do you even have time to text me so many times? Like, I guess it just depends on the female and the man, but I'm not that type of female. And another thing that would like get me off is like, if we're just now dating, don't talk about sex.
But that's the number one go-to for men.
That's the number one go-to. Don't do that though, because guess what? I might be planning the right when we leave the thing, but as soon as you bring it up, it's gonna turn me off. I think it's immature, and a lot of men do that. That's a part of a man's trait. You're always gonna think about sex, which women know that. So a woman will be dumb to be like, oh, he asked about sex. Yeah, well, yeah, that's what he do.
Well, here's where it comes difficult at, because you may have some women they just give it to you, and you have some women you have to work for it, like the dates and things of that nature. So how you think a man can decipher the two?
Just like when somebody's energy is off. You know that, especially if you're saying that you're a man that's always used to getting this type of female that's going to give it up the first time. You know what actions to take. You know how to maneuver around this female. With a lot of women, you have to go off action. You can't go off a word. And that's just because women, we talk a lot. You have to go off her action. Because even like in the bed, like you lay in the bed towards a woman, she wants something if she's scooting like this.
The scoop. So if she does the scoop, get ready to move. What convince a woman to actually sleep with a man?
I think it's just the vibe for women. Because a lot of times, like, you could be a horrible guy. And if we vibing, a lot of times women fall in love with the vibe. And then they give up everything. And then when they finally get to know the person, they're like, you know what, I really don't like this dude. And that's with men too. You fall in love with the vibe. Like, oh, I vibe out with her. We kick it, we drink, we smoke, we kick it out, we have great conversation. You're in love with the vibe. The vibe is good, and then the sex is good. You like, oh damn, that's crazy. And then you find out when the vibe is taken out, you like, I don't like this.
So what do you think is the reason that some women nowadays have a very difficult time dating?
Because their expectations are too high for even themselves. You have to be realistic. You want a man that's going to be like, I want a man that makes over $100,000 a year, that has no children, that has a great relationship with their mom. I want you to be realistic, because if you're not making $100,000, like, how can you put all these expectations on a man when you're not reaching any of those expectations? Expectation for a woman is what's stopping a man from being with them. Like, oh, I want a man that's going to do this, do that. Yeah, he wants a female that's going to suck his all day. Are you willing to do that? No. That's what I'm saying. Like, we put our own foot in our mouths, because, like, there's a man that's right here next to you that's like, he's willing to do everything for you. You're like, oh, I would marry him, but he's not making that amount of money. Like, you're ignorant because, like, what are you doing?
All right, you guys, we're to the part of the show where it's called the lightning round, where I will ask JJ a series of different questions. And these are supposed to be the good, juicy questions that we just see how people think and what they feel. Question 1. Does size matter, and which would you prefer?
I prefer both. Size does matter, and emotion as well.
Have you ever had a one-night stand?
No, actually.
Would you ever have one?
Now, no, because I'm in a relationship. Before, depends.
Do you prefer music or silence?
Music.
I like to have like trap music sometimes.
Oh.
You know how I feel. If I got
Oh, because you must have just beat.
Yeah, I may need a trap music.
I like slow music. It just depends on how the body goes with the slow music.
If a man had a shortcoming, 1 minute, man, would you give him another chance?
Probably not.
Ooh, he can bounce back.
It's a waste of time. No need for extra mileage.
Get out, All right, there you have it. There is the lightning round. This is the episode of Talks with Derrick Dating Shenanigans, the women's version. I want to thank JJ for coming through, giving her opinions on the women's side, and she will be back for more episodes that I do. Please make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. I hope y'all enjoy this as much as I enjoy this kicking it with the homie. That is Talks with Derrick, and I am out. Peace.
A Forte joint. Talks with Derrick.